Hello everyone, welcome to another roleplay one-shot. It's roleplay, the time Cleaver. Cleaver. No, I tweeted out the wrong name and people were quick to call me on, as they should be. It's the Cleaver. It's not the time Clever. That's a weird name. We didn't name it that. It's okay. We're going to get through this together. You recognize most of the faces here. We've got Strippin, we've got Zeke, we've got Pokket. But a face you might not recognize is that cartoon one there in the bottom center. It's DM MontyGlu. Monty,
Hi.
why don't you do a quick introduction of yourself before we go around and see what everyone's been up to?
I'm MontyGlu. I've been DMing for I think around 2.5 years now. I run the Unexpectables, which is a D&D stream over at Twitch/TV or Twitch.tv/Takahata101 with the 101 Club. And I'm really excited to be here.
Cool. Zeke, what are you laughing at? You've already smiling. What are you doing?
Well, because yours, I saw you zapping yourself.
Yeah,
with the,
I have lightning
the
in my
electricity.
God damn it! There it is, right here. There's lightning in my scene. I don't know why. I just realized
It's
that.
like your Adam in the Michelangelo painting.
Exactly. Thank you for thinking of me that way, Zeke. That's very. Ooh. Zeke, what have you been up to? I saw you were drunk as fuck last night. That must have been fun.
I got a little lit up last night. My buddy is he's having a baby soon, and he dubbed this, and I hate even saying this word, but he dubbed it his baby moon, like a honeymoon, before he has to be full on like dad time.
He's gonna be a great dad.
Yeah, but yeah, his wife is pregnant and stuff, so he wanted one last hurrah before he had buckled down and.
Before he's got to be an adult.
Yeah, be an adult and be a dad and all that kind of stuff. So we went out last night and had quite a few drinks and ate way too much sushi and just lived it up a little bit. But I'm all right. I'm all right. Got a lot of sleep.
Good.
So I'm good.
Good.
I'm
You
good to go.
rebounded
I'm ready.
well.
I'm really excited. I'm always excited with new adventures and new DMs, new characters, all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
and
Go ahead. Go ahead. I think you're gonna go where I'm going, but go ahead.
yeah, and I guess the only announcement I have, I'm leaving tomorrow for Gamescom, so I'll be in Germany for the next few days. So
Have fun with that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
no, I will.
You didn't take it where I was going to go. A little bit of a somber note. Bike Man was supposed to be in Zeke's shoes right now on the show, but he
Yep.
had some health complications earlier this week. I think it's been, I think like a week since, maybe it was Monday.
Yeah.
I forget the actual day. So Zeke
It
stepped
was
in.
like 5 days ago.
Yeah. Zeke stepped in last minute and kind of rolled his character very quickly. So thanks for doing that. And shout outs to Bike as well. I'm pretty sure he's doing okay from the tweets that I've read and stuff
he's
like
on
that.
the mend.
Yeah.
He's on the
Yeah,
mend.
Mom said he was doing good.
Yeah. So that's
Filling
good.
in, never replacing.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, just in case I forget, I just want to say this name is rough Elvish translation for because there's no bicycle or bike or anything, so it's a rough translation. Wheel man
Nice. Perfect.
as an homage to Bike Man.
Well done. All right, well, we'll find out more about the Elvish Wheelman in due time. Let's head over to Swoop. I can't believe I get to call you Swoop all the next 4 hours, Strippin. I'm excited for that.
Right.
What have you been up to? I know we've been playing games, but what else besides that? What have you been doing?
I've been sick this week, pretty much.
Yeah?
I like strain. You guys ever done this? You like strain your neck so you can't look left and right.
Yeah.
Hold
yeah.
on.
Fuck
Explain how
me.
you strained your neck, because you probably
I'm
were
not-
sitting down.
I don't know, like slept weird, something.
You can just do it
So I-
sleeping weird. Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
I
sleep
strained
neck.
my neck, so I like couldn't look left or right for like 4 days. It's like still pretty bad, but it's alright now. I can kind of look left.
You need
and right.
some of these right here, man. You need these.
Dude,
Muscle relaxers.
I've had so many of these that I was starting to get like real bad like stomach cramps and stuff because I was just popping pills like
Well,
like
okay,
a
don't do
motherfucker
that.
in the
All right.
club.
All right, let's talk about something
But
else.
yeah, apart from that, For Honor Season 3 came out, so I'm giving that another go. Been playing a bit of For Honor. And then Dauntless came out yesterday, so we've been playing some Dauntless. I've been playing a ton this morning as well.
Yeah.
I'm way ahead of you, dude.
I mean, I don't know if I'll go back to it, to be honest, but we'll talk about
Really?
that. Yeah, man. The grind is not going to be exciting if it's being wiped in 10 days.
Is it getting wiped in 10 days?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know if it is. I don't think so.
It's getting wiped for release, regardless.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll talk about it after the show. Pokket, I think the last time we saw you, your hair was different color, which isn't really that rare. But what color are you? You're now red. What's
It's hard to tell when it even is real hair.
That's
to be
true.
honest.
She does a good job.
It's yeah, I went red hair. I actually did it on stream. I started looking at photos of like girls with red hair, and then I was like, I think I want red hair. So the store is really close, so I ran to the store and came back and dyed my hair on stream just because.
Nice.
So
Well done.
I just got tired of blonde. I had to switch it up to something vivid.
Matches with your character too.
Yeah.
That you wanted to be in character. That's what it was.
Oh, and what's great is I got red hair and started playing Red Dead. So like it was fitting, kind of.
Are you setting a new example on your stream that if you play a game you have to dye your hair the color of the game?
I hope not, because I'll have no hair left.
Okay.
So.
I mean, if you play Saints Row, you could go purple. If you play Zelda, you can go green, I guess. Yeah,
I'd be blonde. Link's blonde.
Yeah, there'd already be some discrepancies there. Like you'd have to.
Yeah.
I can already see people getting upset.
But yeah, so I wanted to play Dauntless, but I wanted to finish Red Dead before I did anything else because I've been sitting on it for like over a week.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm actually gonna play Dragon Age next. I'm going through all the games I never beat.
Wait, did you beat Red Dead?
No, I'm gonna be finishing it tomorrow. I don't have that much left, so
Okay.
I'll be finishing it tomorrow, and then Tuesday starting Dragon Age Origins. So.
The end of Red Dead is one of the best endings in video games, in my opinion.
Oh, really? I'm
Really
excited.
good.
The game's been great so far.
Yeah.
And especially considering it's 7 years old, it looks great, it plays great, it's a lot of fun. So.
Yeah, it is a good game. It is. But that, I guess next weekend we'll be able to talk to you about the ending a little bit on a camera. So we'll do that for sure. But yeah, quick intros. I like it for one shots, especially, so we could jump straight into the game. So I guess, Monty, this is where we hand over the reins to you.
All right.
What are we doing?
So,
where are we at?
The four of you currently are residing in Belton Village, which is a village that is far, far east of the main capital city of Alivast. Alivast being the continent, and the city of Alivast being the main sort of hub where everyone kind of lives and then goes out and travels and adventures. The continent currently is newly discovered. It is mostly unexplored, so it's kind of a new place for people who want to explore, who want to mine resources, who want just a healthy living. The four of you have ended up in this village for one reason or another, up to your discretion. And you are currently, as part of being within the village, have to do a kind of a guard duty. Everybody does their share of duty. So at this point, the four of you, it's your turn. And you're also working with two other people as well on the wall. The village is surrounded by a fairly decent cobblestone wall, probably about 10 feet high. And everything else in the village, you have your basic amenities. You have a tavern. You have a more general temple of worship that kind of features altars for every god. You also have, wells and things like that. The one thing about the village is that it's predominantly mostly of mining. There's lots of dwarves in town, and of fishing as well. So there's plenty of humans and other creatures as well. Why don't you guys introduce your characters and where they fit into this village?
Zeke, go ahead and start. Yeah,
I'll start. Yeah. All right. My character's name is Roka Atan. He's a half elf, born to a human mother, elf father. Grew up in a fairly unremarkable home with an unremarkable childhood. His father left before he was born and left him with nothing but a name. His mother doesn't talk about him much, but at times you can find her staring into the distance. You get the feeling she's remembering him or the time before Roka was born. His mother, Mora, was a weaver. She made exceptional garments that she herself couldn't afford. Roka's life changed when he was 11 years old. He was out further into the wilderness, away from his home and city than he'd ever been. He got lost. It got dark and cold. He wandered for another day and night. During the night, he was attacked in the dark by a beast. And all he could do was cover his eyes and weep in fear and pain. Hunters, I wrote too much. I'm just gonna, let's paraphrase.
Better too much than too little.
I was wondering how long he was.
Hour number 2, Zeke. Please continue telling us about your character.
I realized this is gonna be too long. All right. So long story short, he was attacked Hunters found him. A priest healed him. He swore that day that he would never be a victim again. And he spent his life. He's a cleric, so he spent his life trying to repay back the church and the God that saved his life. And also, he would never be a victim again. He would never be afraid of anything ever again. So that's kind of his attitude, is healing for Hoketh, who is the god of death, but also the god of death is very neutral. It's just a part of life. It's not like an evil thing.
It's
so
like the cycle of life and death is more or less Hoketh's domain.
Exactly. Death is to be revered, not feared. And it is not an affront to prevent death, but it is to mock it. So undead are a mock of death, whereas resurrections are not.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Who's going next?
I'll do it.
Do it, Strippin.
I'm playing a Kenku. For those of you who don't know what Kenku is, it's like a little birdman. My particular Kenku is called Swoop. He resembles a barn owl. He's quite short. He's like 5'2". He's light gray and brown. He's a bit of a swindler. He's a bow for hire. He's a ranger. But if he sees shiny stuff, he might put it in his pocket. And his flaw is that he can't resist swindling people who are more powerful than him. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Pokket, you go next.
My character is Crixia Lore, and she's a red dragonborn, and she has a soldier background. Her family was actually a military family. Well, not her mother, but her father was, and she was raised very strictly and very sheltered. Her father wanted a son, but since he had a daughter, he was hard on her and pushed her to her limits and trained her to follow in his footsteps. But he died in a war, and her mother is still alive and old, but hasn't been the same since her father died. She's lived a pretty noble life and tries to follow in the footsteps of her father, but she's constantly feeling like she needs to outdo her last mission. And she never felt good enough, even though she's very highly praised. And now she's in this new town, sort of trying to, I guess, help establish it for the people there.
Cool. I'm playing Pine Cricket, which is Adam Contini if you were a D&D character. If you need some inspiration, this is... that's what my character looks like right there, basically, with a little bit more gray in it. Probably with that amount of seriousness.
Pine Cricket, dude. I hate you already. I hate you already.
I laughed pretty hard when you sent me that name. Like, what's the name of your character? Pine Cricket? I was like, okay.
Yeah, it's Pine Cricket. It's Pine Cricket.
I love it. Also, I'm so sorry. If I could just jump in, I completely forgot. I'd like to actually thank the artist who did the artwork for the tokens, if I can. I'm so sorry. King of Citrus, who's a fan artist from our stream. I contacted him, and he got these done in record speed time, and he did excellent work. So I want to credit him as well.
Yeah. You'll see the tokens of the characters popping up a little bit later in the show when we start using maps and things like that. But yeah, Pine Cricket's druid. He was part of one of the druidic clans of the world and got exiled for reasons unknown, and has kind of taken up in refuge in one of the forests around here. Every once in a while he comes into town just to kind of fulfill his duty as guardsman, and that's probably how I walked into town and got situated with the other three characters in the show. He's definitely not like a bad guy in any means. He just kind of speaks for the wilderness when they don't have a voice. So that's how I'll be playing him. But yeah, that's Pine Cricket, the best named character in D&D history.
All right. So at this point, it's probably about 7 a.m. You guys have begun the morning watch. You guys have day watch today. And you are currently working amongst Swoop, Roka, correct? Roka?
Mm-hmm. Yes, Roka. Yeah, baby. Yep.
Yeah. Crixia and Pine, you're all working together. You're also working with Boris, Metalmane, who's a dwarf who works the mines, who seems very... At the moment, he's kind of sitting in the corner sharpening an axe, and he seems very disgruntled about doing guard duty. And you're also working with Stell, who's a human woman who has a bow on her back, and she's actually a baker, but it's her turn to do guard duty as well. it smells lovely outside. It's actually a really nice sunny day. There's a bit of the scent of fresh foliage. It rained the day prior, which thankfully you guys weren't on guard for, so you guys get the nice weather. And as you pace along the wall, nothing really to report on. It's rather calm. This village is relatively peaceful. There's the odd goblin raid every once in a while. A couple orcs tried to break in and steal some things, but they were quickly dispatched. There's only been one serious event that happened to the village, but the ones who were involved with it refused to talk about it. They only reference it as the pug, and that's it. They don't talk about anything else. So you guys are currently pacing around the wall. What do you do?
You said it was Stell, and what was the other person's name that's with us?
Boris Metalmane.
Boris. Okay. And what is Boris' description? Is he a dwarf?
Yeah, he's a stoutly dwarf. He's got a bald head. He's got earrings on each ear, and he's got this big, bushy black beard that's just mangled and unkept, and he still has like blacksmithing suit in it and whatnot. He's wearing kind of a simple leather mail, and he's just like kind of just sharpening his axe. He doesn't really want to be up high. He wants to be in the mines right now. You get a sense.
Okay. Well, I'm probably just doing the guard duty. I'm not slacking or anything, so I've got my eyes peered out into the forest. What do guards typically look out for here? Like what have they? What is the resistance that they have fought in the past?
Mostly goblins. The odd bandit will come through and try and kind of weasel their way in, and orcs occasionally.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just hanging out on the wall, looking out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Swoop's in high spirits. He enjoys being up high, so he's just like whistling.
High spirits.
Yeah, a little whistling, a little melody. Not really paying attention.
Did you say we all knew each other or not?
That's up to you guys. I assume you guys are acquaintances, but you don't exactly, know each other's life story, I'd say.
We take the odd job together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd say like I'm just my Crixie is just standing there, like the sword resting on the plate of her shoulder, and just staring out and not saying anything. Sort of listening to the grumbling of Boris and ignoring it.
He's just like keeps sharpening. It's obvious he's just doing it just as habit. He doesn't even care about the weapon. He's just like should be in the mines right now. Like he's going and going. Stell actually walks up to you, Roka. She actually walks right up to you. She goes, "How have you been?"
Oh, I've been fantastic. Thank you for asking.
Yes, I just wanted to thank you, my sister and the baby. A couple weeks ago, it was a good delivery. Thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely. My pleasure. Everything came out, fingers and toes, all accounted for.
Yes, of course. Such a strange continent, you'd be worried. But no, baby's healthy. Baby's fine. Thank you so much again. It's very nice having you here.
Well, it's very nice to be here. I'm glad I could put my skills to good use around here. Now, is there something, anything that we should be expecting today, or have there been any sightings of anything, or something that we should be on the lookout for specifically, or just kind of keep your eyes open?
Generally keep your eyes open. I've heard from one of our merchants who came through. He mentioned that he saw potentially some orcs nearby, but he said that he only caught wind of a couple of them, but still quite concerning. But our village is very well equipped. If anything happens, I can just run to the mines and get all the men at arms, and we'll be okay. Just keep an eye out for movement, that sort of things. And also, and she kind of turns and looks at generally, make sure none of the children get outside again. We're trying to keep them within the walls, but they get adventurous, what being young is like.
Oh, yeah, of course. It wasn't that many summers ago that I was their age and itching for adventure myself.
Indeed, but they are not as well armed or as magically inclined as you are, sir. If they were more like Crixia, I would be less concerned. And she gives you, Crixia, a big, kind of wide, admirable smile.
And I just nod in her direction, but don't really look over. You see me like straighten up a little bit, like my armor adjusts a little bit, but I don't really look over. I'm like intent on staring out and making sure there's no sightings of anything.
Okay, roll a perception check as you're kind of keeping watch generally.
Okay. Let me see where it is. Oh my gosh.
Okay. you're kind of listening half to the conversation. You're just kind of like, I'm just going to look away. I just kind of want to focus on my job, and small talk's kind of not the best as a soldier. You just kind of want to do your job.
Yeah.
Pine Cricket, you also notice that Stell kind of looks over to you and she goes, How is the weather treating you in the woods? Would you like some provisions before you're done?
No, the forest provides. It's quite okay. The rain was quite nice yesterday as well. Allowed new things to be born.
Well, it's spring, so of course it's the season for new life, which is wonderful. But you should make sure to eat properly. You know, I have some extra loaves if you'd like to take them.
My stomach growls and oh no, I'm quite well. The forest will provide.
Okay, well, if that contents you, then very well.
I appreciate it though. Tthank you. But just make sure
And
that someone in the town acquires that.
Of course, certainly. Nothing goes to waste. And she kind of...
What race are you again, JP?
Human.
Oh, you're human. Okay.
I'm Adam Contini, man. Come on. Of course.
Well, I didn't know if you. Well,
I'm
you
not a
could be,
troll. I'm all right. I'm not.
You could be a dwarf.
Okay, you're right. Yeah. No, I'm a
All
human.
right. Yeah.
Stell at this point kind of walks along the wall and just kind of looks out. It's kind of like a casual thing. Like there's no real set like sort of cycle. Everyone just kind of wanders up and down certain parts of the wall and kind of looks. As you guys are standing there, you do hear a rustling. A shh in the bushes.
Can we all make a perception check
yeah.
to try to like hone in on
you can
that?
all make a perception one.
That could be my dinner.
Did I already make mine?
I'd say yeah, if you're okay with that.
I got a 16. I need to rename mine.
Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, I can't, I have a negative in perception, so.
I mean, you might crit. It's okay. Just try it out.
Pine, as you're standing on the wall, you're kind of leaning your foot against the wall. Your ears perk up, and you are one with the forest, so you know when there's movement, unnatural movement.
Right.
And you see stumbling out of the woods a man currently clutching his side, gasping and straining. He's struggling over the shrubs and bushes. And as he does, you see him kind of turn to look behind him, and you see there's an axe in his back currently. And he is bleeding, and he's stumbling towards the wall, and he's like, "Help me! Help me!"
How high up are we on the wall? Is it like
You guys are about 10 feet up.
I'll jump off the wall and run to his aid.
All right, roll an acrobatics check.
Oh, God. This should go well. Hey, 20, not bad.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah, so I jump off, do a deft roll as I hit the ground and run up to him, probably right as he's about to collapse, and embrace him.
Is there
All
a
right.
nearby?
Is there a what, sorry?
A ladder nearby that I can get down the wall, or stairs or something, so I can go down the wall and
You
not.
could climb. You could climb the.
Yo, we're on a wall outside of town, but there's ladders you can just climb up if you want.
Someone.
Like,
No,
that's-
just leave. We can always kick the ladder down. Whatever.
Oh my god.
There is no ladder, but it is pretty rough cobblestone. You could do an athletics check to jump down.
Oh yeah, I'll do an athletics. Can I do an? Can I climb down? I'll just do an athletics.
Yeah, for sure.
Why?
All right. It's not the most graceful thing, but you do manage to climb down.
Like
And as you
away,
do,
and I'm like stumbling as I go down a little bit. So
you have a moment where your foot slips, and you're like, "Oh, okay, I got this, and you slowly walk down. And as you do, you see, you run up to the man Pine, and he is bleeding heavily. He's got blood coming out of his nose. He's a balded man. He has a bit of hair around his ears. He's a human man, and he's wearing robes as well as a holy symbol on his neck. And he's currently grasping at his ribs, as well as like he's got this just giant axe in his side, and you can tell it's of a very crude design. And as you're there with him, you see running from the woods, brandishing yet another weapon, an orc.
oh no.
Okay.
So I want everybody to roll initiatives.
Is it clear this person's dead, by the way, that's in my arms?
He's alive. He's barely alive, though.
Okay. All right. Make sure you guys select your token when you roll initiative, so it'll tie it to it.
I actually will do it automatically for you guys.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah, so just roll the number, and I'll just naturally do it, because I got to roll for this guy, too.
Where's the? Oh, there it is. Wait.
Hit the top center.
10, 8, and then we need Roka as well.
Is Roka the Cyclopean looking guy?
It kind of looks like he has a tattoo on his forehead.
Oh, that's a
of his,
tattoo. Okay.
Yeah, of his holy thing, his
Gotcha.
holy emblem.
Cool.
Did mine come through?
Yeah,
no.
You rolled an 8, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you did.
Yeah,
Okay. Oh,
it's
whoops,
above.
sorry. And then 17. There we go. And then this guy. Okay. So, you're first up there. I forgot your name. Crixia. Crixia, you're up first.
Okay.
You get a good assessment of the situation. You see what's going on. The man currently is luckily safe, sort of in the loving embrace of Pine Cricket. But the orc is approaching and is brandishing a weapon. And the orc itself looks kind of winded. He's been chasing this guy for a bit. What do you do?
I'm gonna move up and get beside the NPC, or try to get in between the man and the orc. And oh man, I'm nervous. And I'm gonna tell Pine. I'm gonna say, hey man, we gotta go. We gotta get back on the gate. And yeah, so I'm gonna try and move up. I don't know how far I can move. I don't know what how far is 30 in this.
You can hit the ruler in the top left, the fourth one down, and you can drag around. See.
Oh, okay. So
I can move up to there, yeah.
Yeah, so I can move up to there. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna move right in front of the NPC.
All right, you guarded. You run up. The grass is a little wet and a little bit slippery, but you manage to trudge through it with your armor, and you immediately get into a guarded pose.
Yes.
Swoop, it is now your turn.
A quick question: as far as speaking goes, I'm not sure like what your rules are. Like, if I can speak only on my turn.
Yeah, only on your turn.
Okay, cool.
Swoop, he kind of sees the orc bombarding, and he kind of mumbles to himself, "Ooh, this will be interesting." And he produces his longbow and takes a shot at the orc.
All right. Longbow range is...
I think it's like 120. You can click on the item in there. Salmon will tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Longbow?
Yeah, like in the cogwheel. Under attack and spellcasting. I mean, I can also just do.
Actually not saying.
It is 150, 600.
Okay, perfect. Alrighty. You let loose the arrow, and it goes wide, and you hear a thunk as it lands in a tree next to the orc. And the orc just jolts a little bit, sees the arrow, and then just snarls, brandishing that axe.
Swoop looks at his bow as if it was the bow's fault, and he's like, "Piece of junk."
Pine Cricket, is now your turn.
I see Crixia kind of jump in front of me, as well as the looks to be the poor adventurer with the axe in his back, and I start dragging the man back to the wall as fast as possible. I would assume there's some gate around here.
This particular wall, there is no gate. It's just wall.
Okay. Where would I get him back inside?
There is a tree you could potentially hide him behind over here.
Okay.
You would have to go completely around.
All right. Yeah. Well, I'll try to drag him to safety over here. How far is that? It's 40 feet. How long? I can. Did I take mobile? Oh, I did take the mobile feet. That's how I can go 40. Will you allow me to drag him 40 feet, or are you gonna allow me to?
You can drag him 20 feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
If you're moving another character.
Yeah, I will drag him 20 then down here,
Okay.
making way towards the tree, and I'm turning up to the wall to our two adventurers up there and saying, "Help her! She needs help! I'm dragging this man behind the tree."
Okay. Roka, you hear the call of Pine Cricket from below. What do you do?
Well, I'm going to do the healing word on the wounded. Now, I'm sorry, what was the NPC? It's a dwarf or?
Is a human.
Human, okay. On the human NPC, it's 60-foot range. It's one bonus action, and it's 1d4 plus my modifier. So I look at him, I grab my holy symbol and just say the Elvish word for healing, and point at him.
Okay.
Let me see here. I can just do it like not prayer of healing. Healing word. There we go. Level 1. There you go. Give me
Okay.
7.
Pine Cricket, as you're standing there with the man, and the man's gasping. He's having a hard time breathing, you could tell. You suddenly see him kind of straighten, and you see a divine energy enwrap him. And as he kind of begins to rise up, feeling a bit better, you also notice the axe clunk, clunk, lands out of his body as the wound is healed over. And he gasps and he grabs your shoulders like, thank you. Thank you.
And as the orc, if the orc is still like coming at us, where I can yell at him because I can speak Orcish, I say, just halt in Orcish. What is the meaning of this?
Let's see if... Nope.
Nope.
The orc kind of just scoffs, and seeing a very impressive challenger runs up to you, Crixia, brandishing a war axe.
Okay.
Oh, this is good.
Oh,
He
no.
swings his war axe, and he hits your pauldron on your shoulder, and you hear a gonging noise. And the orc like lifts up his axe as you've just stood so firm that he couldn't even like falter your stance. And he kind of looks back a little bit terrified.
And you see her eyes just like stare, and a smile just slowly, like a grin just forms. And she's like, it's about time.
It is now your turn.
I believe I can. So if I have a question, because it's the first time I play Paladin, if I do Hunter's Mark, that takes up a spell slot, right?
Yeah.
I think first I'm just gonna try and take a swing at him back,
Okay.
and see how it goes. So, let me see. So I'm gonna swing my longsword at him. So right as he hits me and it like clashes back, I'm just gonna swoop underneath and try to hit him. So I just roll for that, I guess.
That hits.
Okay.
That just hits.
Yeah, and I think I'm just gonna stay there, keeping his concentration on me as long as he's just focused on me and not worried about getting the injured man.
All right, so as you take and you swing the axe, this orc's already a little bit battered and bruised. You go up and you cleave, and your sword goes probably a good 5 inches into his side, and he just shrieks out. You see his 2 tusks like ripped back, and he's just screaming at the top of his lungs.
Ooh.
He is not having a good time. Swoop, it is now your turn.
Swoop cocks another arrow, and he closes one eye, and lets another arrow loose.
Okay. Oh. You close that one eye, you let it loose, and Crixia, as you're like engaged in combat, you see an arrow go by and pew, hits his ear. And he's like, "Row, row." And the arrow lands in the dirt with a little piece of ear on it, but doesn't do any damage, sadly. It just almost barely hits him.
I like kind of look back, but I don't want to take my eyes off him, so I kind of look back and then look forward, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
You hear from behind you, the sun's in my eyes.
I'm nocturnal, goddammit.
I'm an owl.
Pine Cricket is now your turn.
So this person that was in my arm seems to be fine now. The axe has fallen to the ground. They seem to be maneuvering themselves just fine. Okay.
They're still in obviously a lot of adrenaline rushes going on, but he's able to move now on his own. He's able to walk. He doesn't look like he needs assistance anymore. He kind of even like grabs your shoulder and gives you kind of a knowing nod and looks back to the orc like, you've got this.
Yeah. Okay. I'll point to which direction the entrance into the town is, even if he has to rope all the way around, and say, quickly go over there. The guardsman will let you in. And then I turn to the orc, and I will start walking slowly towards the orc and use a wild shape ability to turn into a brown bear.
Brown bear. All right.
So can I think that's just a bonus action. So I should be able to attack in the same round, right?
You took Circle of the Moon, so yeah, you can attack.
Okay.
Because
cool.
it's a bonus action to transform.
So yeah, Crixia, you hear a ferocious roar. To your left is a brown bear, quite large in size, is right next to the orc, and I will use the multi-attack, which is 1 bite and 1 attack with the claw. So
All right.
that is d20 plus 5. I'll add these into the character sheet later. That's straight up 1. You tell me how that goes.
Oh.
As you're running as a bear, and you're like boom, 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 but the ground is still a little wet, and suddenly you're like, wait, I'm going too fast, and then you try to stop with both claws out, and then you just kind of slide like a slip and slide past the orc a few feet, just like whoa, 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 and then you stop.
Okay. Am I still able to get next to him for the second part of the attack?
I'll say yeah, you slide a little bit past him.
Okay. Yeah, as I slide past, I stop myself, like you said, with the claws in the ground. Let out kind of a loud breath of air from my snout, just and as an annoyance, and then make the attack with the claw. 19?
Okay, that definitely hits.
All
Wow.
right. 2d6 plus 4, 12.
Oof. So as Crixie, as you're watching this orc, and the orc's just kind of like, oh, my ear, and like, oh, my side, you hear a boom, 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 and then as this bear slides and kind of like initial D drifts to the side, and then reaches out and swings and smacks the orc across the head. The orc collapses onto the ground. That was a claw attack, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
that was a claw. Yeah,
Yeah.
the first one was bite, second was claw.
You slice clean through the orc's skull, and the orc just stumbles forward and falls down, and the axe clatters from his hand.
And blood like sprays across my armor. I'm just like, I just got this cleaned. And I immediately lean down and pick up the orc's axe.
Okay. You can add 1 hand axe.
Okay.
Actually, no, sorry, it was a great axe. My bad.
Oh, okay.
Thanks to your sarcastic comment, I kind of, you see the bear head slowly rise up to you and let out just a, just kind of upset, but also I don't really care too much. Then I would probably just start eating the orc because I was a little bit hungry up on the wall.
The man who you saved, kind of like clutching his chest a little bit, watches in horror as this bear just starts ripping out pieces and tendons and things, and starts kind of just, this is quite good, eating bits and pieces of the orc. Not the most delicious thing, but it's a meal.
It's substance.
I shout from the top of the wall. Is everyone all right down there? Anyone require assistance?
Swoop spots the bear and he scoffs. So primitive.
You see my snout raise up from the intestines of the orc and just blood covered, dripping down the.
Yes,
the
you.
Fur. Go back and continue eating.
I shout down to the NPC. Sir, good sir.
Yes.
Yes, you from out of the woods.
The woods, I guess, I suppose.
What happened to you?
Oh, God. Actually, we don't have that much time. Are you aware of the temple to the north? The Temple of Oriara to the north?
Am I?
You guys do know that there is a temple that ways, but no one's ever really been to it. It's kind of a little hangout area for craftsmen and clockmakers. It's not really a hip and happening place. It's just kind of a kind of like a gilded kind of building. But they're very secluded, almost druid-like in nature, and they just make things. You see them come to town occasionally to buy like ore and material, but very rarely do you see them come in for any other reason.
Okay. Vaguely, what is the problem?
We've been besieged by orcs to the north. Too many of them to count, and one that is not much of an orc at all. Honestly, it's more of some sort of monster or creature. It attacked us, and it's in. Oh, God, it's in the temple.
All right, well, come to the gate. We'll get you taken care of, and we'll alert the guard of the town.
I walk
please.
NPC as he's like shouting, and I drop the great axe by him. I'm like, you should learn how to use that. And I just walk to the wall and start climbing up it.
I'm having a very bad day, he says as he grabs the great axe and kind of just drags it behind you.
Rocker, you feel like a poking in your side. And you look down, and it's Swoop, and he leans in. And, I don't suppose there's treasure at this temple.
Well, there very well might be. Temples tend to hoard a lot of treasure. So if that be your motivation, then I suggest you come with us.
Very loudly, Swoop yells, "What are we waiting for? Let's save these people."
Yes, let's not rush in headlong though. Let's be sure that we have numbers on our side as well as ambition.
Quite.
As you guys kind of reconvene inside the walls, Stell and Boris Metalmane are currently tending to this man. His name is Colin, and he describes, he's like, I was just out gathering firewood. We're making charcoal. We use it to make our plans, and all these orcs showed up. I need you. You need to go right away. The more time you waste here, the more dangerous those orcs will become if they get inside the deeper sanctums of that temple. I'm so sorry, but some of you need to go right away. There could be people there too who need your help.
I'm gonna cut you off here, and we need a lot more information than a bunch of orcs. How many? Are we talking 2? Are we talking 5, 20, 50? I mean, we're gonna need a lot more people than just... I mean, we got a bird that can't shoot anything. We got a bear that'll eat
I missed on
anything.
purpose.
Oh, did you now? I thought I
Yes.
said something about the sun earlier. Maybe that was just my hearing. I was in the
Yes.
middle of hitting
I thought
something.
you were a paladin. If you don't want to save this poor man, maybe I should go with him.
Oh, do you...
Want that treasure?
For
to
what
get away?
motivation? Oh, you want the treasure? Is that it?
I didn't say anything about treasure.
I'm pretty sure I heard...
I'm sure the Temple of Oriar would be willing to pay a semblance of a fee if you were to help us, please.
See?
And he pinches his eyes and he pinches his brow and he kind of is like he's trying to remember, but you can tell he's still in shock. He's still shaking. I know I saw 5. No, I think 6, and then the big one. And
I place a hand on his shoulder. I'm like, listen, you don't need to pay us. We'll do this. We'll protect you. We just need better information.
I'll take her share.
I roll my eyes. 6. So you say 6 and a monster. Are we talking about dragons? And I get ooh, dragons?
dragons, gods forbid, no dragons. But whatever that thing is, it's unnatural. I mean, I'm a craftsman, but I know unnatural when I see it. Evil and vile. It's slaughtered most of the people in the temple. I managed to run, but not before. And he kind of reaches back and touches now the somewhat well-sealed wound on his back. I tried to run, but...
Have we heard rumors of this creature and might be able to tell what it is with like a skill, like a history or a religion roll or something like that?
I'd say
or an arcana or something, if it's a construct or something. I don't know.
I'd say for your guys' experience from this kind of small village, I'd say you guys know of orcs, certainly. And
Right.
This orc you saw just attack, that is not the caliber of orc you're used to seeing in this area. You're used to seeing like bandits from the city, like half orcs from the city coming in and causing trouble. Most of the actual native orcs tend to keep to themselves for the most part. This actually roll a knowledge religion for something else, actually.
Okay.
I think both you and Crixia should both roll for this.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll. Oh, my gosh.
You're looking at this guy like, man, this guy's a weenie.
This guy's crazy.
Raka, you do know that orcs kind of worship different things in this world. In most cases, they tend to worship spirits of animals that they tend to hunt a lot, but there are some orcs that worship a god known as Ganesh, which is a god of destruction.
Okay.
And in some cases, they tend to be very nomadic, and they tend to travel to places of interest in the attempt to bolster their power and destroy what's in their way. They're very quick in their movements, which is obviously why this guy is probably panicking. And so there's a bit of seriousness to it, you believe.
Okay. Well, then I take the cue from Colin, and I inform whoever I report to as a guard. Like,
you guys are kind of a collective. Stell and Boris are kind of there awaiting your guys' orders. They're basically ready to, like, even Stella's just like, if you want us, you guys should go look at the temple, see what survivors you can find. We are going to fortify the village and get everyone at arms.
Perfect. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Oh, excellent. Well, that's usually our plan. So, yeah,
Right.
if there's anybody else like this poor man, you should send them this way, and hopefully stop whatever's happening.
How far away is this temple, Colin?
Maybe 3 hours walk. If you run, it's much shorter.
Do we have any?
Grabs his shoulder.
Do we have access to mounts or anything?
No, this village is too small. There's like beasts of burden, but they're currently probably in the mines right now. So getting them, set up would take more time.
Okay, so we should get walking soon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thank you for the information. Please rest, get better, and hopefully we will return victorious or with more survivors.
He actually takes off the symbol he has on his neck, and he actually hands it to you.
Whose symbol is it? What god?
This is a god that you actually are somewhat familiar with, but also it's very niche god. It's the goddess Oriara, which is actually the goddess of craft, which is like clockwork and jewelry and things that kind of fall out of art and fall out of architecture and things like that. And he hands it to you shakily, and he goes, "If you are to enter her temple, you should have at least one of her symbols."
Well, I will definitely be giving it to one of my compatriots.
Swoop kind of like holds his hand out. I'll take that.
And as he like hands it, I grab it, like in midair, and I'm like, "I'll give it to you later." Like, we need to make sure we keep this for now. You can have it later, I promise. But right now, I'll just go ahead and keep this in my pocket. That way, we know that it'll be here later.
I guess I'll ask the group. So, as we make our way, has anyone been to this temple or know the directions to it? I guess that's more a question for the DM. Like, do any of us know?
The only person who would actually be Pine Cricket.
Yeah, I was thinking I would. I think
you've spoken actually to them once last year, when they were making charcoal.
Okay.
They were taking down the wrong trees, and you actually came out of the woods. You scared the dickens out of them. But there were two craftsmen, one with a very beautiful bushy mustache, and the other one, a woman with kind of a tight braided ponytail. And they were you could tell they were not exactly people of nature, and they were trying to make their charcoal, and they basically took down the wrong trees. And you kind of sternly gave them a warning, and they were very apologetic. They tried to like alleviate it, but other than that, you've never really interacted with them. You've never really been into the temple. You've seen it in the woods. Okay. It's very old, and it's actually probably been there. You estimate it's been there since before this continent has been discovered.
Okay. So Raka asked if anyone's been there and knows where it's at. And I think right when you do hear the crunch of I've dragged the guy's corpse, the orc's corpse inside, so there's a trail of blood leading from the gate to wherever we're standing. You hear a loud crunch on the skull of the orc, and the bare tongue kind of runs itself along the outline, trying to get everything inside. And then bear lunges forward about 2 or 3 steps, and I shape change back into Pine Cricket, and and I stare at Rock and say, "Yes, I've been there before. Well, I know where it's at. I haven't stepped foot in it."
As he says that, blood drips from his beard, and it's kind of horrific.
Yeah, I do a long wipe and kind of like flick it off on the ground. I apologize. It's tough. Okay.
I would like to use the horrific distraction of Pine Cricket to pickpocket or attempt to pickpocket the amulet out of Crixia's pocket.
Oh, all right, roll sleight of hand, and Crixia roll perception.
Okay.
Hey, 21.
Wow, there's no way. Perception? Right?
Yeah, perception.
You've never seen a bear tongue the inside of an orc skull before. You're really, really distracted, Crixia.
Not a natural one. I
think as like he's picking my pocket, I'm just like looking, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't. This is horrific.
Swoop is so good at this. He mumbles under his breath about how you said, "I'll give it." He's like, "Give it to you later." Just nips out your pocket. And he's like, "I'll take that," and just like waddles off.
As you do, Stell helps Colin. He's going to lead him to the temple. And as you do, as she does, Boris kind of turns to you and is just like, "All right, you guys head out. Make sure the people that are safe. I'll get the men from the mines. Get ourselves armed." been a while since we had something exciting going on. And he kind of like, he's now smiling. He's very jovial despite the circumstances. And he kind of hobbles off towards the mine. And you guys are left to the opening of the entrance of the village.
Do you need to collect anything before we go? Kind of just looking about the three of you.
No.
No, let's lead the way.
All right. I turn and start marching out of the village. Do I need to make a survival roll to see if I'm heading towards the right way? Or are you just going to say I go the right way?
I'm going to say you find the right way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
It's I mean, we'll get to that in a second, actually. As you guys walk in kind of this row, you guys make decent haste, but at the same time enough that you aren't going to be like, like doing a full on like run or sprint. You're taking your time, but you're also in a bit of a hurry. So your stealth isn't compromised. And as you guys are running, you run for about 20 minutes. And as you do, Pine Cricket, you notice a very tragic sight for you. You see now a absolute warpath that the orcs have made through the forest leading from the western regions. You see the new saplings of the season crushed underfoot, crushed into the dirt. You see old oak trees just taken asunder by axes, just in like, how like they cut through brush in jungle. It looks like they just took an axe to everything. You see an old oak on its side, and as you look, you see a bird's nest crumpled and broken, eggs destroyed. You continue forward, you see animals slain, but not harvested for any food or meat or anything. They're just killed and left for dead. And as you progress, this warpath gets greater and more violent and more brutal as you go on. And you guys keep going for about probably 2 hours. It's a long trek, and it's a clear path leading. And as you do, you begin to hear sounds, and you see in the distance the peak of the temple, a very sort of ziggurat-looking construction. Very old stone. You see old engravings on the side of it, ivy crawling up one side. And you see a pillar of smoke, a small pillar of smoke, something like a campfire. And as you guys approach, you hear sounds of moving armor, of armor clanking together, of harsh voices speaking to each other.
As we get closer and we start to see it, I immediately go up to Pine and I reach in my pocket and I'm like, here, you should take this. And I reach in and I like fumble around a little bit. And then I look down and I'm like, where did it go? Where's the amulet? Did it fall? I hope we don't actually need it to get in. And I look back at Swoop.
Can't believe you've dropped it. You should have let me hold it.
So what's the plan now?
As you guys stride forward, Pine Cricket, you kind of kneel down, and through a bush, you see this. You see currently 2 orcs standing adjacent from a tree, and there's currently another one of those priests in the garb, currently tied up to the tree, alive and wriggling, trying to get free. And the orcs have on 2 different stumps, 2 different items. And there's an orc standing between them, kind of like a guard. And the 2 are currently playing a very crude version of darts. They have axes in their hands, and they're throwing with turns at this poor person in the tree who's screaming every time an axe just narrowly misses them. And the orcs are just like you can hear. Who speaks orc again? It was.
I do.
Okay, you can hear them like kind of like people at a bar, which makes it very weird. Like, oh, you suck at this. Like, you're missing. You're not going to win the pool. And like this poor person is like crying and bleeding already, strung up on this tree. You see this orc here is currently just like smashing the body of another priest who is very much dead. He's just like having fun, like just kind of taking an axe to the ribs and the skull and just seeing how it shatters.
I think throughout the entire journey up here, you've seen me go from what was once like a jovial, just eating, happy-go-lucky type druid as we left to just like a disgruntled, pissed off, I can't believe they've done this. Oh God, this is going to take years to rebuild type situation or type mood. So I'm pretty pissed off at this point. I didn't even really notice that Crixia was talking about the key missing or the amulet was missing. I assume we're in cover behind these bushes, right? You
Yeah,
said as a
they
pair?
don't see you. They seem preoccupied with what they're doing. They're preoccupied with their game, and this one who's supposed to be keeping guard is currently like happily, jovially doing this really gorish activity.
Okay.
Yeah, and I kind of whisper to the people around. It seems like this is a game to them. They're seeing quite brutally what an axe can do to a body, and they're taking bets with each other. This is a game to them.
I sort of look over as you're whispering, and I just look. I'm like, if you say so, this has to be stopped. We have to stop this immediately.
You hear the taut of bowstring, and you can see Swoops to the left, and you hear under his breath, "Well, let the games begin." And I want to preemptively loose an arrow at the closest orc.
All right.
You see me like go, what? Like, wait.
Yeah, I think like
It just goes.
I think as the arrow fires off, that's a good point for us to take a break before we jump into another fight.
All right.
Because Strippin once again is just active. Probably fucking die.
Yeah, and I mean, we could go around and see if there's any more orcs,
Yeah,
or
I know.
like ambush, pinch, or move them. But
Nah, we're just jumping into it. Who cares? Who cares? All right. We got 3 hours more to go here on Roleplay, the Time Cleaver. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back with hour number 2 right after this. We'll see you guys then.